Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to do my absolute best to show you, from start to finish, how to properly install the O3 Ozon heat recovery system developed by Mr. Krasowski.
You are heartily welcome.
The very first step is simply to begin working on your recuperation project. If you already have it, then you can proceed to the next stage. You will find the complete project available on the website www.o3ozon.pl along with all the necessary components. If you'd like to see how the entire process works in practice, step by step, then make sure to check out Mr. Krasowski's channel, where you'll find a wealth of practical materials that will help you navigate this entire process without any stress.
Once our project is complete, we can then proceed with transferring these points from the design directly to the actual physical location, which for me means the ceiling in my living room. The design itself has accounted for no less than 3 openings, so we'll now begin the process of precise measuring and then, of course, the drilling. When drilling holes, we must remember that the hole should be positioned costa from half a meter to 1.20 meters at most from the window opening. When we have marked our openings on the ceiling, precisely according to the design specifications, we can then proceed to prepare a small pilot hole. We do this only and exclusively for one specific reason: to accurately determine the precise location from the top side where we will need to drill the main openings for the ventilation ducts. With our pilot drill, we've already marked the spot very simply now to perfectly align with the hole saw's location. Of course, this is a 132mm hole saw. I'm using a hole cutout as a template. A small nail with which I will guide it to the very hole, perfectly to the center. And obviously with spray all over the place. I'm going to mark out for myself the exact spot where I absolutely must perfectly position the cutting crown of our hole saw tool.
The next crucial stage involves precisely marking the openings for the linear diffusers. This is extremely important, particularly if we are planning for future air recirculation. Therefore, we must carefully ensure every single centimeter is perfect, especially within all passages and around the door frames. Initially, I've prepared a sample template for a linear humidifier. You can easily find the exact dimensions of all these elements on the O3Ozon.pl website. Once I have the shape traced, I move on to drilling. I drill a series of holes, one next to the other, and then I break out the material to create a smooth linear opening, ensuring the diffuser will fit perfectly without any issues. Using the exact same method, I prepare the intake and exhaust openings. I position the element, trace its outline onto the brick, drill a series of holes, and then carefully break them out one by one to achieve the precise shape required. I pay special attention to ensure the pipe connection point is in the upper section. This way, any water flowing from the recuperator won't cause a problem. I'm setting up the entire structure with a gentle outward slope to ensure proper drainage. Once everything is properly in place, I meticulously plan the next steps. In the meantime, all the necessary components for the installation have arrived. As you can clearly see, there's quite a substantial amount of material here. The complete heat recovery unit is also part of the kit, and it immediately went to its designated final location. I'm now beginning with a minor modification of the linear air supply system. In my particular case, I'm able to reroute the installation's connection from a side entry to a top one, so I'm carefully adapting the entire unit to perfectly match my specific setup. Additionally, I'm carrying out a custom modification, which you'll see later. I'm fitting the component. Everything goes in as it should. Am I propping from below? I'm checking one more time to make sure everything is lying perfectly level and that the subsequent connection won't cause any problems at all. Once I'm completely sure everything is fine, we seal the edges with electrical tape. This prevents any excess compound from flowing out where it's not supposed to. In addition to that, I also secured the entire structure from the top. That's precisely why I made this custom modification of mine. I'm preparing the unifloat, mixing it well, and then applying the compound to the lower section to ensure a perfect seal for the connections between the ceiling and the diffuser box. This way, everything will be stable and completely airtight. While I'm waiting for the mixture to properly set and bind, I start getting the expansion boxes ready. I'm following the provided design, so the entire retooling process is incredibly straightforward. The kit also contains high-quality rubber seals, which boast a truly excellent fit and finish. The manufacturer has meticulously refined every single detail, even down to the method of their connection. Thanks to this thoughtful design, you can easily handle the assembly without any instructions or the slightest problem. I screwed up the boxes from the top and bottom, just a few screws, and in literally 10 minutes they are completely ready, exactly as the design specifies. I prepare the cable ends with special seals. Remember to always fasten them on the second loop. It's really not difficult. We insert the strap, check its position, then slide the whole thing into the box's socket. Press it to the expansion box and block it with plastic elements. To these plastics, we still need to Among the things that I can recommend to you, you should get a wire stripper. It truly makes a significant difference and will immensely simplify your tasks. I'm drilling holes in the spots where I'll later install the expansion boxes. The kit comes with all the necessary mounting hardware, so you can easily secure them firmly, and then we'll move on. Next I'm connecting the remaining wires according to the design. In the meantime, I carefully remove the protective masking tape. Once the applied material has dried a little, I can gently scrape it away and level it. I am now permanently securing the subsequent expansion boxes. I'm also installing special end caps. Next, I proceed to make all the remaining connections for both the air supply and the exhaust systems, and then I lay out the ducting precisely according to the project design. Along with the set, I also received these metal clamps. And to be honest with you, they operate much more securely. They provide a much more stable hold, so I'm essentially changing everything to metal. It's definitely a much better option. Once the entire installation has been laid out, I secure all the cables with tape, I tighten up the fastenings, and then I drill exactly where it's necessary. You don't have to worry about the pipes, they are exceptionally durable, there's no possible way to crush them. As you can clearly see for yourselves, it looks quite neat and tidy. I'm marking the ceiling height on the ventilation diffusers, and here's a personal suggestion from me. Please shorten them by an extra centimeter beyond what you've already indicated. This is how the entire setup looks at the moment. The flooring is already being laid as we speak, and I'm carefully insulating the rest of the system with wool. We'll have to see how well it works out. At worst, I'll just swap it out for something warmer. Here we have an exhaust air box, a double one specifically designed for bathrooms. There is also a special damper for precise regulation of the airflow, and two distinct types of diffusers, one for supply and one for exhaust. Additionally, for these exhaust boxes, a dedicated filter mesh is provided. How to install it? I'll tell you right now. We unscrew the anemostat, then drill holes on both sides to secure it with a screw. From the mesh, I fashion something like a cap. I position it, clamp it down, and it's ready. Just remember to install this specific type of filter in all exhaust ventilation boxes. Remember that every door in your home should be undercut at the bottom to allow for proper airflow between rooms. Now, we're going to install the siphon in the heat recovery unit. We route the entire drain line, ensuring the correct slope, and then I'll position the heat recovery unit and connect the siphon directly to the device. Alla costa I'm preparing a flexible duct. The outer layer is gently pulled back and the inner second layer is then pushed forward. On this, of course, we will place our connector. We tightly insulate the entire assembly with tape. I then attach the pipe to the recuperator, clamp it securely and thoroughly insulate it. In the future, I plan to add an additional clamp, which will additionally seal the entire system. I'm connecting the exhaust vent, securing all the connections and preparing the next lengths of pipe. I make sure to tightly seal every single connection with tape, and then I verify if the installation's routing angles are properly aligned. I'm also connecting the exhaust ducts to the plenum boxes, then I'll move on to installing the preheater. I'm calculating all the necessary angles and dimensions. I'm replacing the plastic connector with a metal one. Povačić, počekajte. The actual installation of the heat recovery unit is genuinely straightforward. Everything is clearly and thoroughly described in the manual, so anyone can easily manage the assembly on their own. Regarding the drawbacks, the kit does not include the necessary cable for connecting the control panel to the recuperator, so I will have to order it separately and then wait for a short period. Here I'm connecting the entire heater according to the instructions. As I mentioned earlier on Mr. Piotr's channel, there are quite a few videos available, so you won't have any problems at all. And this is what the inside of the heat recovery unit looks like. Among other components, we have these preliminary filters. We replace them every 3 months. The air circulator. Go around it.
The exchange unit.
The dust ionizer. Condensate handled perfectly. Everything is planned in a simple way. The installation of our heat recovery system is now complete.
As you could see, this doesn't really create any major issues. You can do it by yourself or with a maximum of 2 people. I'd estimate you'll be able to get it done within 2 or 3 days. However, my situation was a little different because this is a freshly built home, so for some things you have to wait or reschedule.
So it doesn't always work out as planned.
I hope I managed to show you from A to Z all the most important elements of this whole system.
What truly stands out here, above all else, is the exceptional quality and the complete sealing of the entire system. As you can clearly see for yourselves, the expansion boxes, their connection was achieved through the use of all these various gaskets, and it truly adheres perfectly, so there will be absolutely no air bridges present here.
The way the conduits connect to the junction boxes with those perfectly fitted little seals, my absolute hats off to them. A huge bonus point for the manufacturer. The only real negative point about it would be the potentially plastic caps on the expansion manifolds.
I think we need to dedicate a little more time there, or perhaps use those metal ones, which in my opinion perform much better. So what's left for me to do is perhaps just slightly refine the entire system, given that I'm submitting the video just 2 days before the competition concludes, so I was really pressed for time with the deadline, so there might be some minor adjustments and final touches. And I think I'll really enjoy its full potential. We'll see how it goes. I'll be able to give my first impressions in a month at the earliest. More detailed opinions will come after a year of using this system. I'm very positively inclined because of all the knowledge which I received here from Mr. Piotr. You too can draw inspiration from it. All you need to do is watch a few videos either during dinner or during lunch. Just half an hour each day, and then all you need to do is simply acquire the system and enjoy the fresh air.
Stay safe, everyone, and thank you all very much again.